Here we go for another first impression BJJ episode. Today we're gonna have Tyrone and Sylvie. So they both train at 905 BJJ, and I want them to introduce a little bit of themselves first. There we go. Let's start with Tyrone. Let's go,
Sure.
Tyrone.
Thanks. My name's Tyrone Kuronen. I've been training at 905 since 2013. Um, been in martial arts since I was a kid, I guess.
Yeah,
And I eventually made my way to Jiu-Jitsu, um, mainly because of my work. I work as a court officer, so I know that
that's nice.
through UFC and all that stuff, fights go to the ground and all that stuff, right? And it's much easier to control someone in that manner.
When you know what you're doing exactly, right?
Yes, yes.
Exactly, exactly. What about you, Sylvie?
I have been training at 905 since, well, 2019, spring of 2019, but I've been training with Tyrone at home since 2015. And I'm 40 years old, feeling younger now. I feel like I'm 20.
And
That's
I'm
good. That's
43.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I run a home daycare at home, so I take care of other people's kids in our house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, been doing that since our oldest was, well, I guess it's been
Year.
13, almost 14
Yeah.
years now.
It's been a long
You
time.
guys have three or four, three kids,
We have
four kids,
Four,
We
yeah.
have four.
kids. Wow.
So we have
The oldest is 13, you said? Sorry?
14.
14, yeah.
She's 14.
Okay.
Then we have a son who is almost 10, another daughter who is 6, and the littlest daughter is 3.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And does all the kids train too or no?
The two middle kids, our son and 6-year-old daughter.
So the 6
And
year
the 3-year-old is trying.
Oh really? She's
She
trying?
wants, well, she's been asking for a gi for a while, so we got her one last year. She's only put it on a couple of times, so we're not pushing it.
Yeah,
But
exactly. I agree with that too. You don't need to, my opinion, you don't need to actually be pushing, like I feel like as a martial artist, I see that a lot.
Mhm.
Looks like that we kind of expect, oh, okay, if I do this, maybe my kid will do it too. But I don't think it's gonna happen like this, right? It's not something that you should be
No,
pushing, like, oh, let's go, let's do this.
no, you almost have to
yeah.
sneak it in and make it fun, make it like a game for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's better whenever they actually accept something and they really want to do it, right? Like it's
Yes,
Yeah,
their
for sure.
choice, right?
yeah.
For anything in life, but especially with something like this that maybe because we like so much. Myself, I whenever I get to have a kid, maybe I would be like, oh my god, I hope my kid can. I
Yeah.
hope I
Yeah,
hope
I know. Yeah,
like I
that's right.
want to do it, but it's not my choice. So
Yes.
No.
anyways, you guys been in the martial art for a long time, right? I know you guys already did karate, right? So can you
Yeah.
go over that?
Sure.
Well, that's how we
So
met.
Is
yeah, so we met. Like I started karate actually learning from books like Karate Kid because
yeah.
when I was 12, I'll be 44 this year, and like back then, there's no internet, there's nothing, so like there's no karate schools or in my area. Not There was absolutely nothing. So I wanted to learn martial arts, and yeah, so I started learning from books. I did try judo briefly.
Where
That was
so where was the place you were born? Like this
um
when you were 12, pretty much was the same place you live in the same
n-
place you were born, right?
no, actually, so I was born in Mississauga,
Okay.
and we were there about a year. I've got a younger sister as well, and so we were there about a year, and then we moved up to Georgina, um, and then eventually made our way to Durham region. So we lived in Port Bolster
Oh,
for a
okay.
bit, and then we lived the main area we grew up was in Cannington, so which is also north of Durham. So like you're basically out in the country, live on side road, and
Yeah, yeah.
everywhere you had to go, you had to drive. So yeah, yeah. So there wasn't much around it. I think there was, yeah. By the time I was 13, a karate school finally opened up. Yeah, but
13.
I did try judo, and at the time, I really got turned off of it. The teacher there wasn't wasn't really the ideal kids teacher. I was very uncoordinated as a kid and very shy and not
Why?
very confident.
Why he
So
wasn't?
when I was eight, so when I was 8 years old, I started doing that for, it was about, I guess I was 2 or 3 months in, and like I wasn't that good at it, and he wanted us to do diving front rolls over one
A
of the
belt?
other kids in the class, actually over top of one of the other kids.
Okay.
And so I was scared to do it. He started screaming at me. And that was that. I didn't want to go back after that. So
Intimidating.
no,
Intimidating.
yeah.
Wow.
But then, seeing action movies and Bruce Lee and all that stuff growing up, I wanted to learn the punching and kicking and all that stuff. I thought that was the way to go. And
I know.
so I led the karate, and then so I was doing Shotokan karate for a while. That's the style that came. And then Sylvie, yeah, we met when I was 18.
I was 16 when we
Yeah.
met.
And then you guys used to live in the same city or neighbor?
Well, I grew
No,
up in Uxbridge, pretty much,
we
which
were
is where
20
we
minutes
still live.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 minutes away. Just wasn't too far.
No.
And where was the school? Like the dojo?
So I went to the high school here in our town,
Okay.
and one of the teachers there used to I don't think he still does anymore, but he was a sensei at the karate school up in Cannington, and he decided to open a karate club at the high school just to
Okay.
kind of introduce it to people.
Yeah.
And that's where I joined there. And then Tyrone started coming to help teach at the time. And I was like, when I saw him, I was like,
Okay.
he's my guy.
That's the guy. That's the guy. So Tyrone was already doing karate maybe 5 years already then? So how old were you, Tyrone?
Well, you were a brown belt, I think, at the time, right? Already.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Like like when you went to the high school, how
Yep.
old were you? Because you were training already for some time, right?
I was 18.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was helping out
you're helping the sensei then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my sensei as well. Like it was in charge of that part of the organization. He was sort of running that program as well, along
Okay.
with the other teacher. So I was just helping out.
So then at the school you guys met.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
And then
yeah.
once it got established, then they opened up a second dojo location in our town. And so I started training there more regularly, as well as doing the karate club at the high school.
Okay.
And
But the
then
high
he was
school-
teaching primarily.
Just 1 second. The high school, it is where you guys live right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually the same high school
And
that
where was
our
the
oldest
dojo?
daughter is in.
And
Where was the dojo?
It was here in town.
Yeah, I was here in town.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
5 minutes up the
Sylvie-
street.
So you, Sylvie, were from another like 20 minutes away from there, and you
The other way around. Tyrone,
so
Tyrone
Sylvie
lived
lived here
20 minutes
in
away.
this town, and
Yeah.
then I live north.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I would drive
Okay.
back and forth.
So
Yeah.
he was the one
Yeah.
that came. Okay. Okay. I got it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was trying to help out just to get more hours for teaching,
Yeah,
assistant
yeah.
instruction, that type of thing. And eventually we changed styles. By the time I was 20, I guess, we realized there was another karate school, because we like try other martial arts and things too. So
Yeah.
tried Okinawan karate, and turned out the sensei was teaching out of his basement, a dojo and everything.
And he was around the corner
Amazing
from our
sensei as
house.
well.
where the apartment we were in. He was literally, we could see his backyard from our house.
That's good, right? That's pretty good.
Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sure when I used to live close down to Toronto, BJJ was amazing too, because I was there pretty much. Well, I was there no matter what every day, but when I was living close, it was a lot better. It is better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't need to take bus or train or anything to go down there. You just walk or just bike. It's pretty good. It's a very good distance. I wish I could live really close to the gym here too, but biking is almost 1 hour, and it's
Okay.
uphill. It's not like Toronto. Toronto, I go straight.
Oh, yes.
Here,
Giant hills.
Yeah.
no
It's
way.
like that
I
here
did
too.
once and then said no way, I can't.
Yeah.
Like
It's
no,
like that
It's
here
exhausting,
too.
yeah.
Uphill both ways. It doesn't matter which way you go, you're going up a hill.
no way. You better live close to the gym. It's a lot better, a lot better. I agree with that. But then you guys met, like the gym, like from the high school, you start training in the high school and then in the gym. So when was the introduction with like jiu-jitsu? So Tyrone was first one then, right?
Yeah, so um, when we were doing the Okinawan style, our sensei had stopped teaching after about 5 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then so we tried Muay Thai a little bit and
Yeah.
Ultimate Martial Arts in Scarborough, which is now
Bazooka Joe's.
Joe's, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Now it's called
Because
Bazooka
back then,
Joe's.
like since like as a kid seeing Van Damme and Kickboxer, I always liked Muay Thai as well. So I'm like, oh, I gotta try this now. Have the
Splits.
opportunity.
And some splits.
Yeah. So that was like one of, I think, two Muay Thai schools in Toronto or in the whole area at that time. It was just so hard to find schools, right? And then did that for just a little bit, and then eventually, by the time I found Jiu-Jitsu, I've been doing karate off and on with a couple other different instructors, kind of throughout that period of my 20s, and then I guess, yeah, it was 2013. One of my buddies at work, his son was training at 905 in Aurora. And he's like, oh, I heard you're trying to find a jiu-jitsu school. I said, when I go see Johnny in Aurora. Didn't even heard of it. So call up Johnny Stefan and yeah, I and talked to him for like 20 minutes. And yeah, he was an awesome guy. And went for my first class, did 2 hours. And I'm like, yeah, it was sign me up.
Awesome. So you got the first class with Johnny?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Actually, I should add one more thing. Technically, my first formal jiu-jitsu class was at another gym I was at previous, pound for pound, Muay Thai. I trained there for a little bit with doing some kickboxing there, and then I did my first class with Val Austinov there.
okay.
But I had a previous hockey injury that my leg was still kind of bugging me, and just doing some of the having someone in your guard and whatnot, it was just too much.
Definitely. I understand.
Yeah, I put it on hold and then eventually made my way to Aurora.
So that was a lot before 905 or like sometime.
2 years, yeah, 2011 probably.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get over that injury, and then
Almost 4 years.
yeah, it took a while.
What did you had the injury? Like knee?
Inner thigh, so like groin, like groin pull.
Uh-huh.
So it was actually a half. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was
The tendon was hanging on by a thread.
yeah, my tendon was half torn, and then I had a complication
good.
where calcifications in the tendon. So like because I had such amount of blood in there from bruising that I didn't know it was possible, but you can get like bone growing in your muscle or tendon when you have a acute injury.
Where?
Yeah, in the muscle. So it actually thinks it's like a broken bone, and your body gets confused, and it'll send calcium deposits into the tendon or muscle.
Uh-huh.
So it took good 2 years for the body to reabsorb those minerals.
To get better and
Yeah. So it just had the waiting game. Lots of patience.
Yes, like injuries are hard, right? Like whenever you get injured, especially I would say from something else, not jiu-jitsu, and then you go start jiu-jitsu, I'm sure it's like a very concerned moment that you're gonna always have there, like, oh my, I'm injured, I'm injured. And then you actually maybe do not put the real focus at the time that you could enjoy more the class. And then maybe that's why you didn't actually kept going, like prior in 2011.
Yeah, that's exactly why, yes, because
right?
I didn't want to, I could still feel that pain and that scar tissue and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I
quite
just
ready.
needed to give it more time.
Yeah.
But now actually doing jiu-jitsu, doing the guard work and the flexibility with that, the hips and everything now, it's basically been amazing.
That sounds good. That's amazing. Yeah, and I don't like injury is something that I have an injury too on my hip, and it's something that keeps it's always in your mind, always, no matter what you do, it's always there. And sometimes you do a weird movement that it's like a sharp pain. Like I feel this way, you know, like sharp pains. That's like, oh my God. And then you go
Just a
back.
little reminder.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when in 2011, what were you doing? Like, what were you doing? Just taking care of the kids, Sylvie? How was your mastermind things?
Yeah. 2011, our son was born. So
Oh, there you go.
I was busy with the kids.
Okay. Okay.
But I didn't get any time off really.
Well, she would start training again, and then like within that year,
Every time I started
a
training,
year
I'd
or
get
two,
pregnant.
whatever.
Taking some time off to build the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah,
Build
there
the
you go.
team.
Making our team big and strong.
Exactly. So then you're gonna have some fighters without you don't need to go to the fight. They will go. Don't worry.
We have our own full class over here.
Exactly. So Tyrone actually had the first class in 2011 and then took some time off because injured. 2013 was the actual class in 905, right? With Johnny
Yes.
Rambo. Great guy. Love the guy. Very nice. And then when you introduce Jiu-Jitsu to her, then
Pretty much the start.
Technically, prior to that, like probably around 2011, I bought Saulo Ribeiro's book, University Jiu-Jitsu. Oh,
you have it there too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
I do have it.
It's a good book.
I saw it at chapters, and I'm like, I gotta get this. So like, we were kind of messing around with that in the basement, you know, just trying.
But you know
Trying
what?
to understand what you're looking at.
I had the book since that. I'm gonna actually look. I didn't know when they. I'm gonna look when they put the book out. I didn't know the book was like since 2012 or whatever. I didn't know how long they had this book though. That's
It's
good.
been a while.
And I know it was the only one before, right?
It's the only one I found. I don't know if there's others, but that's the one that was out there. He
gave a lot of help, huh?
Sure. Yeah,
I'm sure.
So so I guess Sylvie, she would come into the academy from time to time.
Just once in a while. Yeah.
She came for Professor Brito's seminar he did. Gosh, that was probably 2014.
I think it was 2014.
Yeah, I barely remember any of it.
Seminar one time up
no, I remember though. It was in the same year that I got to turn on BJJ.
Oh, no, okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I remember that. Yeah, 2014. Yeah.
I guess with Sylvie, she started training consistently 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
2015. That was when I started. It was for about a year. I was training with you at home.
Yeah, you did a lot.
Because we couldn't both afford to go train, so he would go train and then come home and teach me what he learned to help him remember what he did.
We had no one to babysit the kids either, right? So we're kind of hands tied that way.
Yeah. So that was our improvisation, so that
it kind of becomes like of course it's become a financial thing because it's like you gotta have somebody to take a look of the babies. You gotta pay for that, right?
Oh yeah.
Pay for the gym.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, and then I got pregnant again.
No more. We're stopped at 4. That's it.
We're done now.
Last one.
Yeah.
But I tried. I tried to train even at the beginning with the last one, and I couldn't because there was so much pressure in my lower abdomen. I felt like I had a bowling ball, even though it was like only like a month pregnant.
Yeah.
It was just so much pressure. I'm like, I can't do this. I want to, but I can't. So I had to wait until she was born. And then I had to wait till she was done nursing. And so by then it was 2019.
Yeah.
Training pregnant, I don't think it. Well, I've seen Term JJ. I actually saw there was one lady, I forgot her name. Now I saw her. I think she's a black belt now. And I saw her, like in the beginning, she was training. People like, oh, she's pregnant. I was like, oh my God, why she's, like, no, don't train. Like, just take care of the thing, like, just take care of your baby.
Well, it's pretty protected in there. Don't get me wrong, but it was just the pressure. It was too much pressure.
for a little bit, and then
Yeah.
yeah. So
For me, it just didn't work.
No, I know. And then, but how, okay, I want to know, the thing is, I want to kind of explain how was your like what did you feel getting, how did you feel getting from him the knowledge, you know, like to keep, what kept you going? Like, because he used to go to the gym, learn, right, some stuff, and then bring home. And how was it? Like, I want, maybe we can clear the mind of couples, you know, like how that was done, you know.
You know
Okay.
what? It took us a long time to learn how to work together,
even
and
karate,
for
it
me
was
to
tough.
learn
We
from him, because
she would get frustrated with me, and
and I questioned everything, and it's not so much that I didn't trust what he was saying. It's more like I just didn't totally understand it.
Uh-huh.
But
it took
the
about
way
it took 20 years. So.
Only 20 years. Oh my God. Hey, you guys better make a video with step by step what to do to teach your wife jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. But the way I did it, so can you help me out with, can
yeah,
we just try this out? Can you help me with this?
that was the key right there, because I love to help people. I feel the best when I help people.
Okay.
So that was his way of kind of getting me in to try it. It's like, oh, can you just help me? Like, just, you don't have to do anything. Just stand there and be my dummy so that I can practice the movements.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. But then it was so gradual that I didn't even realize I was starting to learn the different positions. I was starting to learn the terms. It still took me a long time to figure that out after. It was like learning a whole other language.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
But just it was so gradual, really.
And
Very,
how,
very
how
gradual.
was, how was like your feeling? Okay, so I'm sure you come already from like a martial art background, so that's a lot
Yeah.
easier for everybody, right? Like in just a common sense when you come from another martial art. But
Yeah.
what you had your, okay, he asked for your help and then he started doing stuff, but what was in your mind like when you start to actually things get clear here, you know, with the movements and stuff? What did you feel like? Oh, I kind of, maybe you liked more, maybe you understood and you say, oh, I can actually protect myself. What did you think at first? Like,
You know, it's funny. I felt lost.
the
I
beginning.
felt completely lost. Like, he would just use me as his uki, and I was like, I have no idea what you're doing. I'm just gonna roll with it, literally. And it was like that actually for a long time. It wasn't until until 2015 when I started really focusing on it. I'm like, I think I'd gone a couple of times to the academy with Tyrone.
Uh-huh.
It was fun. Loved, like, the environment there was like amazing. And but again, it's not easy for me to get away from the kids.
Yes.
And because we didn't have anyone to watch the kids at the time. And it wasn't until our oldest turned 13 that she started babysitting for us.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the
Yeah, that made it
catalyst
easier.
that
So that was like our
allowed me to
gateway
leave.
to
Point,
going
right? The turning point.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, okay, so, but by this time, did you know already you had in your mind, like what drill was, like something at least?
No, well, not exactly. No. The terminology was all still very new to me. Like, it took me a while to learn. Like, Tyrone, okay, I'm like, tell me the positions. I'm like, I don't even know what position is called what. I'm like, what do I do? What is this? Like, they call out a position. I have no idea what I'm doing.
But what belt Tyrone was at that time already? When she started going to the gym, when like your oldest kid started babysitting.
Oh, you were blue by
I
then.
was around a blue belt, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you already had like a pretty good experience, I guess, right? Like,
Yeah. And he's a good teacher to begin with. So
okay, no, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. That's what I like. Okay, as a white belt, maybe not so good, but maybe you can explain. But I would say as soon as you start to be blue belt and you understand a lot better, it's easy.
yeah, understand the
Yeah.
concepts and
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
better to explain to people.
yeah. And I think just knowing how the body moves and what direction to go in and
Well, and for you too, like the more you got involved with it, like we'd be practicing here and there at home,
yeah.
and then, you know, the more you got into it, the more you were absorbing it too.
And the more addicted I got to it.
Exactly. That's the point we want to get. People.
Yeah. It took
we-
some time, but I did get addicted.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I think the addicting part is actually when you are able to roll with different body types, because
Yes.
you kind of will learn. Everybody with every different body type, you're gonna learn something different, right? You're gonna,
Yes.
with a smaller person, like a very thin person, you're gonna roll one way. With a bigger guy, like a heavy guy, you're gonna roll another way. With a medium size, sometimes the person is like very strong, and then you have to figure out how to do it. So then that's what makes you actually, man, I gotta find a way. And then
Exactly.
these type of thoughts start to get in here, and then you're like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
gotta solve this, I gotta solve that. So
That's my favorite part. Because for me, working with kids, little kids, like 1, 2, 3 years old all the time, my brain wasn't being challenged.
uh-huh
So going to class
yeah.
was
Well, and then
huge
seeing
for me.
adult,
And being around grown-ups, being around other adults, I was like, yes,
Not only kids, but actually talking something with
having adult conversations. I forgot what that was like.
I'm sure. So then when you start going to the gym, I guess sometime Tyrone has to stay home, right? So that's
yeah.
the
So I
Yeah.
started. So with me training consistently up until that point, I thought, it's time for me to let Sylvie get over there and spend some time at the academy by herself. And
whenever
That was
whenever she
harder.
whenever she went to class, did she come back with a new technique? Tyrone, let me teach you a new technique now.
oh yeah, yeah.
Well, not really, because you already knew them all. I was still trying to
you were
catch up.
still. No, you did so. You were like, oh, yeah, you did this today.
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta practice this now.
Well, I would tell you what we did, but
Yeah.
you already knew most of it.
That's
So it
nice.
wasn't really new to you. I wasn't coming home and teaching
Oh.
you.
I still needed to practice too, though.
Just come home with a new detail. Give him a new detail, and then he's gonna, that's gonna be
Yeah, well, hopefully. Maybe
that's.
a little bit more
Do you guys
recently, but
do you guys have like you guys train? I know you guys train in the gym, but you guys have some time like that. You guys, oh, okay, this day of the week we train together. Do you guys do something like that?
yeah. Yeah, like for a while, like I would go Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, but at the academy, but then it's like it's too much. So, and he wasn't able to train as often because he had injured his knee. So we decided Monday was our night at home. So we would train together on Monday nights, and then I would just go on Wednesday and Saturdays instead at the academy.
Awesome. So you injured your knee with what? Was before?
No, I
It
was
a whole bunch of
during
injuries before.
So when I was playing hockey, so I played goalie for a bit, and I was playing it 3 days a week. So it was pretty hard on my knees doing that, and
Yeah.
It didn't help.
so I'm sure there was a little something there going on over time, and then gradually my left knee I started having some issues, and eventually it was a meniscus tear that eventually flipped on me. So the flap flipped over inside my knee lock, and that was at
The last
the
tournament.
2019 Toronto BJJ annual
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu for Life annual.
Okay.
So
He won
So, yeah.
gold.
That's pretty good. I saw that. Yeah, the other day I actually saw the picture. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
I injured the knee in my first match. I was able to win on points, and then somehow I made it through the next two.
Oh,
The,
yeah.
the next one I
He's
won
a
on
fighter.
decision. I just thought I'm just not gonna give up. I'm not gonna just absolutely destroy my knee. But Professor Chiago was watching, so I'm like, I gotta finish it now. I gotta keep going. I just can't give up, right?
I know
So-
exactly that pressure. I know exactly that pressure. Exactly. When you
Yeah.
ready to go, you have the coach there. The coach looks to you like, oh my god, I gotta go. No matter what you have in the feeling, like your knee, your both knee, hips, shoulder, you good to go? Yes.
Well, I could have straightened my knee, but I could keep
But
it
you could
bent.
bend
So I
it.
thought, well, I could fight with a bent knee at least. So
I can do some stuff, right? No, but
Yeah.
that's I believe this is something that jiu-jitsu gives to you too, you know, this type of mentality of, I think I can make it, you know, I think it's possible.
Mhm.
Like,
That's the nice thing about jujitsu. We've noticed that even with injuries, you can modify your technique to adapt around it so that you can still keep fighting if you have to.
exactly,
So
exactly.
from a self-defense
To
perspective,
protect
that
yourself, right? You actually
exactly,
protect
yeah,
yourself of not getting heat or maybe not getting a technique going on, and actually
yeah,
protect your own injury playing in another whole side or another whole, you know, position that you maybe don't do often though. But
yeah,
it is pretty good. It
Yeah.
is something that you can prevent too. I agree, because my whole time in jiu-jitsu, I always been doing that. Like I was,
Mhm.
you know, I play my both sides. I have my one side 100%, the other side I would say 70%, 60%. It's still pretty good. People won't notice as much, but it is,
hmm,
Yeah.
it's there, you know, and it's here. So
yeah. See, and I find like I have to do things like techniques or whatever. I have to do them at least 3 or 4 times in a row for it to sort of start sticking in my head.
yeah,
But then I like to do both sides.
that's
But being 40 years old,
I'm
I
like,
find
no,
if I
just do one
don't,
side.
I
I'm
know,
the opposite.
but I can't, because if I just do one side, I end up overusing the muscles on one side and then not the other. So my muscles feel unbalanced. And then that's when I end up getting hurt.
you feel like that.
I do if I only do one side.
Okay, I just do one side.
See, told you.
One side. Exactly, one
So
side.
I need to do both because I got to
No,
see which side is going to be better.
I get it, I get it. But the thing, it's not that I do only one side. All the techniques, I would say I can do both sides. But when I drill one side only.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't really, maybe the easiest way that I could explain is, it's easier. Of course, it's just like a drill, right? You're drilling the same thing over and over and over and over. You're gonna
Yeah.
actually eventually it's gonna be there.
Hmm.
Yes.
Some reason inside of your brain, it works out to the same way, to the other way too, because you know what to do. You know, you're just in a different position, but then when action is happening, you actually
Hmm.
making your brain work so fast and everything that, with me, it happens the same way. Of course, it's not as good as the right side, but it
Yeah.
still works, you know. I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys can feel the same thing too. And how's you guys, let's say you said Monday, Wednesday, Saturday you're going to class, right?
That's the routine I worked up to. I didn't start at that.
And how was Tyrone, like Tyrone going to class, like Tuesday, Thursdays? How was it?
Um, I guess at
Depended
that point, so it
because
was when I was injured, so I was rehabbing and stuff. It took a while, but
but
and then
even
and then
before that,
COVID
yeah,
happened. But
Okay, so that was prior to COVID.
but before, if we rewind a bit, like if we go back, like
a few years before that.
I was actually like when I'm a purple now. So I got my purple in 2019 after that tournament. But obviously, being blue prior to that, I actually was coaching a lot with helping with the kids' classes,
Uh-huh. Awesome,
getting my
awesome. I didn't
our
know.
two kids
Awesome.
involved, and so like I wasn't training as much as I wanted to.
Uh-huh.
So I started put my kids first, but like I was trying to train here and there. Um, like I wasn't as consistent, I guess. I was probably on my own 2 days a week, I guess, maybe one day a week, depending on my work schedule and all that stuff too. So it was for me to get my own training, it was really hard at that point.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
But working up towards, time towards the purple belt,
Yeah.
I knew it was sort of getting the time frame. So I started getting, on consistently 3 days a week. And then I got back into doing some tournaments again.
Yeah.
That was good.
I
Is
think
there
I started helping out with the kids too. Like I would start on Saturday mornings. I would take the
awesome.
kids to kids class instead that day,
Uh-huh.
and then I would do
Oh
the
yeah, that's
adult
right.
class after.
Yeah.
I'd make the
Yeah. So
kids
we
sit
would
and
sort of
wait.
join.
He never made the kids
Yeah.
sit and wait. I'm like, no, no, you can sit and wait. I'll
Put
bring
the kids
snacks
away, exactly.
and whatever little activities for
I'll
them to
make
do
them
on the
wait
side.
sometimes.
No, yeah.
So
Make them wait. There's another room there, right? There's a separate room. Just put them to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
the stuff and go train. Exactly. Exactly. Do you guys had had or have like right now any class that you like, oh, I like this class, like drills only, rolls only? How is it? What's the taste?
I always did both. Well, no, I did technique class only for a long time. Not a long time, but almost at least several months.
Yeah.
But more because I couldn't handle more than an hour of training. Like I was 175, 180 pounds when I first started in 2019. And then and I had adrenal fatigue and my iron was low. So once I started managing those, I was able to start recovering from the workouts faster. So I would do one class a week. It would take me the whole week to recover the 1 hour class.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then eventually I was like, after I think a couple of months, I was able to add a second class. And then
Pretty good.
and then so I would do like Monday and Wednesday, for example. And then a few months later after that, I would do 2 hours. So I would do technique and then I do rolling
Awesome.
right after. And yeah, it's just pretty much stuck ever since.
When was like your first roll, Sylvie? Your first like actually
My
roll?
very first roll was with a guy who was what, 260 pounds?
Oh, you know
Jesus
Brock?
Christ.
You know Brock?
Why?
But
I don't know.
My first class too, I rolled with Brock. I did the 2 hours,
With
so
Brock?
hour technique and an hour rolling. So it was.
He was good. I had no idea what I was doing.
No. He's good. I'm sure he's good.
Yeah.
Boom.
I figured, you know what? If I can survive that, I'm good.
For sure. I agree. Oh my God, Brock. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's because it's Johnny. You know, he knew that Sylvie probably, you know, it was my wife. And
I'm a special
obviously.
breed.
So yeah, it's no problem. Go with Brock. You'll be okay.
It was nice then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
When was the first role that you, from all the training that you had like been doing, and you actually felt on control? You know the feeling when you're like, oh my God, like.
Oh, I actually have an idea what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Oh geez. Probably. I don't know. Probably not for like a while.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 months at least of consistent practice.
Going to the gym or with Tyrone?
Well, that was with Tyrone. I always did a little bit of rolling with him at home anyways, but I still didn't, not that I didn't feel comfortable rolling with him. I still didn't have enough of a base of knowledge of what to do and how to move. Like I was still learning how to move. I think.
I get it. What
But
about you, Tyrone? Do you remember?
I guess just because of some previous experience, it wasn't like I wasn't overwhelmed or anything like that. Like, you know, I like rolling for someone the first time, I guess, is really tough, obviously. But actually, just thought in my mind going way back. Actually, her cousin Carlos, he's a Japanese jiu-jitsu guy and all kinds of martial arts. You know, he's a grappler as well.
Yeah.
And we actually did a little bit of training with him, like early 2000s, I think, at Brampton. But it was just like we visited a few times. But like, yeah, we did a couple rolls back then, like mount escapes and some specifics and things. And I remember how tough that was.
It was so different.
That was for the first time I was mounted. Actually, it was at that point. And then just trying to get away and just how exhausting it was. But yeah, eventually down the road, yeah, like at 905, it's by the time, I guess after probably a good solid year and a half of just consistent practice, that I was starting to feel okay. Like, and I was thinking, okay, I want to do tournaments and that, and you know, it's just like a gradual growing process that you go through, I guess.
Yes, I understand that, but the thing is, like, you know, when you actually have like you training, that was with me. Like you training, you start to learn a few things, and then you put in your mind like, oh, I wanna actually do this. You know, when you like a technique and you say, oh, I wanna practice this technique, and then you start doing it, and then you see that it works, and then in your mind like, oh my god, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Yeah.
a point that everybody has. I'm sure everyone has this point.
Mm.
You know? And
Yeah.
after that, everything becomes a lot better, right? Because you start to understand
The
the
technique.
movement, the technique, the why,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the why not,
Yeah.
when
Yes.
to do it, when not to
Yeah.
do it, right? When
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys have in mind when was that point for you?
Oh, I do. Actually, yeah. Yeah, the first one, and I thought, oh, this is the one. This I like this one. So, I think it was my first month of training. We were doing some De La Riva guard, and then Johnny was teaching, and he showed an option to do the tripod sweep off,
Uh-huh.
get your foot on the hip and cross sleeve grip and all that, and do the tripod sweep. And for my body type, because
It's
I'm
perfect.
6'1" and I'm lean, and I have long arms and legs, so it worked really well for me. And so I really started focusing on that and doing it rolling, and yeah, it just felt good. Like I was able to time it and stuff.
Exactly.
It was something I could rely on.
Yeah.
Not I couldn't really rely on much else at that point, but
No,
starting out,
yes,
but it was like,
yes.
this is the one thing I go for, and then I could try to get on top, right? Surpassing the guard and try to get
Yeah.
on top, right? So.
But then after that, nothing else, right? Because the tripod was the tricky one.
Yeah, and then everybody knew, oh, this is his technique, and then he started stuffing my legs, and oh no, and then I'm gonna get my guard pass.
Yes,
Now I'm stuck side control bottom. Oh well.
I had the same point too with the same thing. With me, I think it was the baseball choke. When I learned the baseball choke, I was like,
Mm.
oh,
Okay.
I like this. Everything that I was trying to make everything to have this grip. And then I was like, okay, now I know I can, like submit or do something. But then if I couldn't get that, nothing would happen, like
Mm.
just close guard and be there for a long time, and then things start to get better. Another click. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
What about you, Sylvie? Like when you start going to the gym, when was like the first time that you actually, oh my god, I can't control this person. I can do the techniques that I know in this person. You know,
Uh, I don't know. I don't know that there's any one specific moment in time.
how can you describe your role then? Describe like a good role that you have. What's a good role for you?
Just flow rolling, really, I think.
Okay.
I don't know, just constant
I don't know.
moving.
She likes crushing people.
Yeah.
She's a small person.
Flow
I
roll.
don't know. That's more. Yeah, it's like a crushing wave roll. I don't know. What's the word. Yeah, I don't know.
So she's the one.
Flow roll. Okay, sure.
Let's flow. Let's flow. All right.
I like pressure.
Me too.
No, she's good with the grip from what do you call it? Bow and arrow choke.
Okay.
But it's not. I can't remember the name of it, but
I
it's
don't remember what it's called.
basically that grip, but it's not the bow and arrow choke. I can't remember. It's like a variation.
It's this one. And then you come
So when
around.
you try to escape.
Yeah.
So if I try to, there's nowhere to go, and I'm escaping, and her grip has gotten so strong now. And
There you go.
That's really
That's
good.
I do like that one.
Bad for me.
And my hands are small enough that I can usually weasel it underneath a little, like very sneaky.
Easier, right? Easier.
Yeah, than it. Like his hands are big.
Yeah, Professor Chiago taught that one last year, and yeah, she just picked it up.
Yeah, I did like that one.
That's nice. See, there you go. There's at least some techniques that we're gonna really like. Another we're not gonna actually practice, right? I'm sure in ages, body type, and everything, we always have some preferred techniques, something that we can do, something that we really get in our mind, like in our head, easier than anything else. I'm sure of that. And in relation between like the couple, you guys train together, sometimes go to the gym together, I believe, whenever you guys can.
Yeah, that would be our date night. When our 13-year-old started. Yeah, no, seriously, it's like, Lara, you're babysitting tonight. I'm going training. Okay. So I'd get the two little ones into bed, and then she'd only really have to watch the older, like the middle one. And then like if he was home in time, we would carpool together, and it was so nice because we rarely ever get to go out
Yeah, just
by
have a break
ourselves
with,
I
like,
get it.
us two,
ever.
go
So
somewhere.
it's like we could actually have a conversation for the 35 to 40-minute drive without interruption.
I'm sure. And going training together is pretty good, right? Having the opportunity to go
Yeah.
Oh,
train. Well, I feel
Yeah.
like make pretty much the same friends, right? Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always every same person's always, I believe. You know,
Mostly, yeah. If you go on the same nights, they're usually the same group
group,
of
right?
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Having
But at first I had a hard time though. Like when he started staying home and I was going by myself, I was so nervous. Even though like I kind of knew some people, like I knew faces, but I didn't really know anybody's name.
yeah.
I just knew him and I would just train with him at the academy,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
right? So, but it was so hard for
How
me.
long took you to start to be easygoing and talk to people and
Well, talking to people
not
was
too
not
long.
really the problem. It was more just getting over
Probably
the
a month.
nerves.
Probably
Yeah,
month, not even.
maybe.
Yeah, not too long.
I think because for me, I hadn't gone anywhere really. I hadn't been around other adults by myself. I
uh-huh.
was
For a
always
long
with
time?
Tyrone for like at least 10 years,
And
right?
kids, right? Kids.
Kids, I'm totally cool with kids. Grown-ups, maybe not so much.
I get it. So what can you guys say like in a couple that do you think jiu-jitsu maybe brought you guys more together? Because you guys already come from a martial art, right? Like you met
Yeah.
Tyrone in the karate. So you
Yeah.
guys pretty much made the whole life through martial art.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Train together, you know, for
Yeah.
a good period of time.
Yeah.
And then jiu-jitsu, so he went to the gym, train, learn something, comes home, teach you, and then
Yeah.
you start going to the gym, and then somehow you guys go together to the gym, right?
Yeah.
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 You guys, can you guys say something like that jiu-jitsu maybe brought you guys together, or I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something we can share. We both really love now. Like with karate, Sylvie kind of drifted away from it a bit, and it just kind of lost interest over time and whatnot. But now it's like we're both so into it. It's just really neat.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
The karate I liked. Like I liked the stand-up kickboxing side of it and all that, but I always felt like there was something missing. Like I could do stand-up, but if I went to the ground, I was completely lost. I had no idea what to do. And it wasn't until I started doing the jujitsu that I realized how naturally it came.
Uh-huh.
Like when you start learning the movements, it's like being a kid all over again.
Yeah.
Whereas with the karate styles that we had done, I never fully felt comfortable. Like I never felt like it was for me, and
It
I couldn't
feels
figure.
natural for you.
Yeah, like I really had to work extra hard to learn it. Whereas this, it's with the jujitsu, it's different. Like I understand more of it more easily now. It took a while to get there, but it's like information overload because there's so many different techniques. But at the same time, that's what I love about it. I'm not getting bored with it because there's still so much. I feel like I'm a white belt with 4 stripes. I feel like I've barely touched the surface. Like I only know this much, and there's still all of this that I have yet to learn.
A lot more, even though once you even reach a black belt, there'll be tons of things to learn. You know, you never stop learning. Every single time you go to the gym, you see the same technique, you see something different, right?
Yeah.
So
And it's different with different people too. Like different body sizes, and that's the thing that I loved about the rolling.
exactly.
Is just from an exercise perspective, it constantly challenged my body in different ways that it was never the same way twice. So even though you're rolling for an hour, you're switching partners every 5 minutes or whatever before pandemic times. But every roll was a little bit different. So some would go a little more, some would go a little lighter, some were bigger, some were smaller. Like, so there was different body shapes and sizes and types and just styles to roll with, right?
Exactly.
Constant variety. and I ended up losing like 35, 40 pounds.
In how much period of time?
About a year.
That's pretty good.
About a year. So no, it was about a year because I started around March 2019, and by March 2020, when I did the tournament, I was down to 140.
So did you change your whole? So you guys pretty much changed the whole like
lifestyle?
Yes, for that, or you guys already been to like, okay, let's eat well and stuff, and then jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, we were already eating fairly well.
Yeah,
Like
I've
we
always
have,
been into, fitness and, weights, just to stay strong and whatnot. And
yeah,
it's a supplement to my training.
but in the food, like we already had like a fairly clean diet. Like I had gestational diabetes with 2 of the 4 kids, so I had to learn how to eat more clean, I guess you could say, with very little sugar. So, and we just kept that up. We don't eat a lot of junk food, I guess you could say.
No, yeah.
And our
And
food
for
restrictions.
you, like you found something finally with the jiu-jitsu, like you're consistent with it, right?
Yeah.
And you love doing it, and it's such a great workout.
Yeah.
Like how many people I've seen like have made amazing transformations with their physical health. It's
but it's
phenomenal,
physical
right?
and mental.
Yeah.
Because when you're training, like you have to be in that moment. You can't think about what happened during the day if there was something bothering you. Like you have to focus on what your training partner is doing, because if you don't, you're smashed.
Exactly.
You got to figure out your way out of it. But it's a constant problem solving, and for me, that was big for my mind. I needed that challenge.
That's pretty good. That's nice. Like I'm really not surprised, but I like to see the way you guys, as a couple, all this stuff. Okay, so just to go back here, we did one episode. It didn't work really nice, right? Now in the second one, I know a lot of stuff about you guys, so I see the connection, and I like this. Like since you guys say, oh, one day, some weeks I train 3 times, and then Tyrone has to stay home to take care of the kids, and then Tyrone was training while you like having the kids and babysitting, having your work to do. I understand that because everybody has work, everybody has their responsibilities. But as a couple, doing the same martial art, the same sport, and getting together to make that happen, it's pretty good.
It's nice that we can find that balance, I find, and take turns.
I guess for any couple, if you find something you both love to do,
exactly,
it's good, right?
It's bonus.
Obviously, people need their own space too, but
definitely.
If it's something you can share, obviously, and it's like jiu-jitsu, obviously is a lifestyle and it's a big part of our life. So it's something we both enjoy and share.
That's what I mean. It's pretty good that you guys both enjoy, so you guys can, like we're having right now an episode with both of you guys, that you guys can talk experiences, right? And people can actually see, and maybe usually maybe the lady trained jiu-jitsu, the guy trained jiu-jitsu, and seeing this can introduce and say, you know what, maybe I can try to introduce to her, or maybe her will think, oh, I can try to introduce to him. And like before, so you introduced jiu-jitsu to her, and somehow she started to really like it, and now it's something that really both of you guys can do together, talk about it, and this is pretty good. That's what I want to people to see and make it happen. The more we can make this happen, the better for our community, the better for jiu-jitsu. This is the first impression. BJJ is only about that. I want to get this type of experience so that people can actually see this and say, oh, it's possible. Because a lot of people, the couples, I see that I had a lot of friends that stopped training because they had kids, it's hard. Life is hard. I understand that life is hard.
It is. Yeah.
But the way I like jiu-jitsu, for sure, I would make something like I always try to like show my wife some stuff like, oh, jiu-jitsu. She is not the best like in say, oh, I love jiu-jitsu too. No, she doesn't. Like I know that, but I tried many times, and she did train for 6 months once straight, and then she stopped, and then somehow she went to Cambridge BJJ. She by only watching and seeing whatever I always did, she
Yeah.
actually knows how to move, but it's not something that it's very interesting to her, you know?
It wasn't for me at first either, to be honest. It took me like probably quite a few years to really
Yeah.
start getting into it.
Tyrone was like there, right? Let's go. Let's go.
No, actually, he was extremely patient.
That's
No, she's too stubborn, and I know that if I push too much,
I just
it
pushed
gets too
back.
bad. No, I'm never doing it.
No.
Forget
exactly.
No, patience. Patience is key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the word for the couples. Patience key, right? Somebody gotta
Yeah.
keep putting the seed there, and one day I'm sure it's gonna come out really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, it was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Thank
You
you.
very
Thank
much.
for having
you.
us.
One more time. Hopefully this time everything's gonna go really well, and by Wednesday we can have this on. Next Wednesday, right now, we're gonna have this on.
Nice.
And
Perfect.
one more time, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sylvie, you are one of the best, not one, you're the best supporter of First Impression BJJ. Thank you so much.
There's no way. I'm not the only one.
I really appreciate, not the only one, I know. I was really surprised the other day when I saw I have like 21 subscribers. I'm like, oh my God, actually people is listening to me, you know? And I
Good.
like that. So
Perfect.
I want to say thank you so much to you because you share, you always comment, like, this is something that whenever I see, you know, we always like, oh my God, somebody. So thank you so much for that, you know, and I
You're
hope
welcome.
we can keep like growing and doing interview with people and showing this to the world so we can get more people in like in jiu-jitsu. It's not about around me here, you know, around you,
Hmm.
like everywhere. I want these people to like anybody that can understand English and can understand whatever we're saying and can understand that jiu-jitsu can bring something really good to their lives, in single life, in a couple life, marriage life, whatever type of life you have.
Family life. Yeah.
Family life, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure soon will be the kids and then the kids of your kids, and that's how it goes. So that's, we want to bring whatever jiu-jitsu can actually, the good things that jiu-jitsu can put in your life, I want to show that to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
So you guys are a very good example of a couple that train jiu-jitsu, you know, and really love jiu-jitsu, and it was awesome. Thank you.
Well, thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us, Calvin. It was fun.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll see you
Okay.
guys later. Take care,
Take care.
guys.
Have a
Talk to you
good
soon.
night.
Night. Bye.